Hey everybody, it's Babette with Haggerty Dog Training, and it is Thursday's Q&A Facebook Live, which is supposed to be at 1:30, but we're changing up the times here. And yes, there are palm trees behind me, and I am in sunny South Florida, Palm Beach County, working with our dogs down here. A lot of good, exciting things are happening here. We've got our group classes launching. I have some stuff we're doing for hurricane safety education for the dogs and the owners of Palm Beach County, South Florida, and really all of Florida. And since I'm talking about hurricane season and going into the summer months, the first thing I want to talk about, and there's a lot of good things I'm going to talk about today about service dogs, training reactive dogs, what to do when you have an aggressive puppy, and a few other things. But since we're talking about hurricane season, we're also talking about the summer season. If you haven't booked your boarding for your dog yet, you need to do that like right now, like right this very second, because I know at least 4 places that are booked all the way until September. They're done, they're booked, they've been booked. Everybody is going away. So you need to book your boarding facility, you need to book your pet sitter, and you need to have a backup plan, especially if you have a pet sitter that's kind of like, the kid down the street. I strongly recommend get in touch with your nearest boarding kennel and book that, pay for that, get all your vaccination records in line now so that they don't turn you away or no one else grabs that spot. Now, a lot of people are saying to us, because we've been getting a lot of phone calls, I'm going away this summer and I want to turn my dog into a service dog. He's so well behaved. And I want to turn him into a service dog so that he can go on the plane with me. Please don't do that. Just don't do that. You are doing a huge disservice to the people that need it. And I know that people can go online and they can punch in service dog certification and they can get a piece of paper that for $19.95 and boom, their dog is a service dog. There are hundreds of hours that go into a legitimate service dog as far as training goes. First of all, you need to start with a dog that was bred for the work. You need to go to a breeder that breeds dogs for service work. Then you're going to spend a whole year working on that dog's obedience skills, getting it socialized, teaching it public access skills so that it can be a well-behaved dog in public. Now, we get it all the time. We have people, yeah, but my dog's so well-behaved. Yeah, your dog's well-behaved, but your dog is not a service dog. Okay? Your dog is not a service dog because your dog is not the rock star you think it is. There is, a couple of birds just flew by. I don't know if that showed up, but anyway, it's really nice and all that you want to put your dog on the plane with you and be a service dog. But let me ask you something. What happens if your dog screws up? What happens if somebody else's fake service dog disrupts your dog and then there's a problem? There was a case probably about a month ago. Actually, it was here in Florida. There was a restaurant that had been cracking down on fake service dogs because they get all these people coming in with their fake service dogs that are barking, that are jumping up on the tables, that are stealing food and disrupting the customers. So they were cracking down on fake service dogs. So, of course, everybody that walks in with a dog, they were on guard. And they were like, fake service dog, fake service dog. They're all looking like fake service dogs. So a blind guy walks in with a legit guide dog and they throw him out. They threw him out because they were so gun shy and they were so triggered by anybody who was bringing in a service dog that they just automatically assumed it was a fake service dog. So this guy who legit has a need for a dog got thrown out. He could not enjoy his meal. All he wanted was like a burger and french fries with his dog. Now you'll see real service dogs, they're like an oxygen tank. You don't even notice them. They're there. The owner is not asking you to pet the dog. Okay. I can also tell you that when you encounter a real service dog, people they don't want to answer questions like, why do you have a service dog? What's your dog's name? Oh, isn't that cute? And they admire from afar. These are people that just want to be left alone. Okay. And I know that for a fact because I have a daughter that has a service dog. Okay. I can't tell you how many times we walk 10 feet. Oh, what a beautiful dog. What's your dog's name? What kind of dog do you have? Oh, can I pet it? No, you can't pet it. It's a service dog. If you're petting a service dog, you are disrupting that dog's work. And you're teaching that dog that when the dog goes out, he's supposed to be pet by everybody. He's not supposed to focus on his handler. So you're screwing up the dog's training. And when you screw up the dog's training, you're putting that handler at risk because you have no idea what that dog is trained to do. It could be a medical alert dog, and oftentimes it is. So if you're, if you see somebody with a service dog, don't fawn all over the service dog. Don't start asking people a million questions. They really don't want to answer your questions. They don't even want to tell you the dog's name. Because if you go up to them and you say, oh, what a lovely service dog. I'm not going to touch it. I know I'm not supposed to touch it. What's your dog's name? Oh, Rover. And then again, Rover is going to look over to you. They don't want to give you the names. I saw a great patch on a service dog vest one day, and it said, you wouldn't pet an oxygen tank, would you? So why do you want to pet me? And that's really the reality of it. People don't want to be bombarded with questions when they go out. So please just give them that respect and give them that space. Now back to where I was going with this. Please try not to pass your dog off as a service dog. I had a girl who called a few weeks ago and she got very mad at me because I wasn't giving her the answers she wanted. And I asked her, what tasks are you training the dog to do? Well, I just want to train it just in case. Please don't train your dog just in case. Please train your dog. And chances are, there's a pretty good chance that if you have just a dog that you bought, which is a lovely dog, and I'm sure you got it from a good breeder, okay, that doesn't make it a service dog. You have to go to people who breed for this work. Okay, your dog needs hundreds and hundreds of hours of training. Okay, dogs that are bred for this work, if you go to like Guide Dogs for the Blind, you go to Canine Companions for Independence, those dogs are bred for this work. Okay, they come from a long line of service dogs, and they have a very small percentage of even passing to become actual good working service dogs. So if you think you're just going to go buy a dog off of Craigslist or a dog off the AKC marketplace and it's a perfect candidate for a service dog, it's not. I promise you, chances are very slim that it is. So I know I kind of get on this soapbox often. You are doing a huge disservice if you're trying to pass off your dog. And I am sure your dog is very well behaved. However, there's a pretty good chance that your dog is not the rock star that it needs to be for service dog work, even if you had a legit need for a service dog. So please try not to pass your dogs off as service dogs this summer on the flights because you're making it harder for other people. And it's really not fair to the people that need it. Just be kind and leave your dog at home. Get your dog a good pet sitter. Your dog does not need to go with you everywhere you go. I promise you, your dog will be just fine. So I'm going to end that soapbox. All right, so aggression in puppies. We recently had a puppy that came in, wasn't backing down. This dog would growl and snap at you. Really too young. I think this puppy is about 12 weeks, 14 weeks, growling. If you told it no, it would get angrier. Aggression in puppies is not that common, thank God. And, as a rule, there are no rules in dog training. However, I can tell you, if your dog is showing signs of true aggression prior to 6 months of age, that's the dog's temperament. That is in their DNA, and that is who they are. Can you curb it? Can you fix it? Sometimes you can. Absolutely. It requires a lot of work. You're going to need to put a good year's worth of training into your dog. You're going to need to spend a lot of time. And it may not need a year, but I'm telling you worst case scenario. If your dog is after 6 months of age, their hormones have started to develop and the testosterone is flowing. They've been in the home for a few months. They're learning what they can and can't get away with. So aggression after 6 months of age is not always inherited in the temperament. A lot of times it's learned behavior. And I'm not saying with all, but where I really want to go with this is when you have an aggressive puppy and the puppy's under 6 months of age, you need to get that dog professional help as soon as possible. That is super, super important that you do it as soon as possible. The sooner you get it done, the better off you're going to be and the better chance you have for success. Now, I have worked with lots of aggressive dogs over the years. And, I tell people, look, you have 4 options when you have a service dog. You either can keep the dog and do nothing. You can keep the dog and train it. You can give the dog away. Or you can do the one thing that people hate hearing me say is you can put the dog to sleep. Now, those are your 4 options. If you keep the dog and do nothing, I can promise you it's not going to get better. It'll probably get worse in time. If you keep the dog and you train the dog, you're giving it the best chance of success. Worst case scenario is it needs more than just training, and that's the way the dog is, and you have a serious problem on your hands. Truthfully, I don't see those dogs so much anymore. Aggression in dogs, I have to say, has really, in my opinion, decreased over the years because of better breeding, because those dogs are cold and they're not used in the breeding program, generally speaking. There were a lot of dogs that came through my dad's kennel that they were absolutely vicious. I haven't seen a true vicious dog. It's been a couple of years. I know exactly which dog I'm thinking of. And that was probably the first dog in many years that was like a truly vicious dog. That dog, I hope they put that dog to sleep because it's a safer world. That's just my opinion. So you can take your aggressive dog and you can train it. Best case scenario is the problem is going to go away. Worst case scenario is it's going to stay the same. The third option is giving the dog away. You give that dog away, you're asking for a lawsuit. You need to disclose that to people, but you could potentially have a lawsuit on your hands. Giving the dog away, you also have to realize that when you give that dog away, you have no idea what somebody's going to do with that dog. The fourth option, which people hate hearing, is they put the dog to sleep. If you put the dog to sleep, the dog's not going to hurt anybody, and nobody can hurt the dog. Now, I'm not telling you what to do because every case is unique, but I tell everybody, these are your four options. Keep the dog, do nothing, keep the dog and train it, give the dog away, or put the dog to sleep. And I tell everybody, take those four options, write a list of pros and cons of each option. Put the list away, sleep on it, and the next day you're going to know the right answer that's for you and your family. It's going to help you make a logical decision out of something that is very, very emotional. So that is my take on how to handle a dog that's aggressive, that's truly aggressive. Maybe it's nailed a few people, maybe it's on its way. Only you know. But if your dog starts showing some funky signs, and unfortunately the average dog owner doesn't know what they are, but if your dog is a little grumpy or grouchy or doesn't like it when you do certain things, which most people will just shake it off, being like, oh, yeah, I just won't do that because he doesn't like that. I promise you the problem is going to get worse. So I strongly recommend that you do something, you get your professional for that dog before it becomes worse and you're at a point of no return. Okay, so my next topic. So, with the internet's a wonderful thing. The internet's also a horrible thing. I had a client I was working with last week. I had helped him with his Sheltie 25 years ago. And so we did a lesson. He had actually called me right before COVID in February of 2020. And I was up in New Jersey and he was in Florida. And he said, listen, I got a new dog. I hunted you down because I haven't found a trainer for it. And I want to send you the dog. Of course, COVID happened. We know what happened. So I finally saw him last week for the first time. And he's been online, he's been on YouTube, he's been doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, and a whole lot of this. So we take his dog outside, we start working the dog. And he looked at me in 20 minutes and he said, you mean all I had to do was what you showed me 25 years ago? I'm like, yes, it still works. Okay. Dogs, you can still train dogs same way you did 25 years ago. Okay. Now, I'm not even going to go there because I know some people are going to say, oh, you can't, training has changed. Training techniques have changed. Tools, there are more tools out there. Absolutely. However, when you skip around and you're watching this guy on YouTube or me on YouTube or somebody else on Instagram, you're taking a smorgasbord. I don't care whose methodology, I don't care whose techniques, I don't care whose gimmick you use. I don't care what contraptions you use to train your dog. Take that trainer's philosophy and follow it all the way through from step 1 all the way to step 32 or however many steps they do. Because if you take a little bit of me and you take a little bit of this guy and a lot of that girl, you are fracturing your foundation and you're not giving your dog a whole foundation of training. The best thing you can do for yourself, because I can tell you these three trainers, we're all going to contradict one another, and you're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I have a client right now that she's been taking a smorgasbord. She takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I tell her, okay, we're going to do this. Yeah, but I don't want to do that because so and so said that, or I'd rather use this because so and so uses this. No, 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 no. It's not a smorgasbord. It's a meal from start to finish. You do the whole thing. It's a whole complete meal. And that's how you have to treat dog training from step 1 all the way to the very last step. One philosophy. If you don't want to use corrections, don't use corrections. Use somebody who's all positive and use their philosophy from the very first step to the very last step. If you want to use this gadget or that gadget or the click or this and or the prong collar, go from the very first step to the very end. Don't pick and choose. Do not start surfing YouTube or surfing Instagram trying to figure out what this guy says about that or what this guy says about something else, because you will drive yourself crazy and you're never going to get your dog trained. And all you have to do is find yourself a good 6-week group obedience class. Good, emphasis is on the good, and you're going to have a good dog. You teach them the basic skills, and that's going to solve a lot of problems and stop a lot of problems from developing. All right, so that's my take on don't treat dog training as a smorgasbord. It's not. Okay. Oh, I want to bring my reactive dog to group class. Well, we don't allow reactive dogs in group class. Well, how is my reactive dog going to learn how to behave in a crowd of people if it's not in a group class? If your dog is not behaving in a group setting, it's not going to behave in a private setting either. And part of the problem is you. Actually, 80% of the dog's problem is your handling of the dog. If your dog is truly well trained, your dog is going to behave in that group setting. So instead of throwing you into a group setting where we know the dog is going to be triggered, not paying attention, and lacking focus, you're going to be stressed out. You're not even going to know what to do because you haven't had any training yet. We work with you individually because once we get your handling skills down, the rest is easy peasy. Then we can teach the dog because now you're focused. You know what to do. You know how to respond to the dog. The dog also realizes, wow, okay, she knows what she's doing, and now I'm focusing on her because I've already learned some skills. So now I'm going to practice the skills out here. Just like, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you've ever practiced, let's say, an actor, you don't stick an actor, on a Broadway stage like day one. They have to build practice. Same thing with your dog. Your dog has to develop their skills. And what you want to do is you want to isolate them. You want to isolate the owner, the owner. You want to be able to concentrate and not worry about all of the external distractions around you. You want to be able to know what to do with your dog and how to do it. And then you can introduce the dog down the street. And then you can introduce 5 dogs down the street. And then you can go down the street to Starbucks and hang out where everybody's coming with their dog. Hopefully they're not fake service dogs, but where they're coming with their dog. So what you have to do is you have to build your skills first. You have to build your dog's skills. You can't just throw your dog into the melee. It's not fair. You're setting them up to fail. So it's super important that you build your dog's skills first. Do some private lessons. Get the dog together. Get the dog calmed down. Get the dog responding to you. You need to learn how to put on the collar, hold the leash, teach the dog the skills, get the dog behaving, and then start adding those distractions bit by bit with the help of a professional. Whether it's us at Haggerty Dog Training or your local professional, it doesn't really matter. But don't put your reactive dog in a group setting because you are setting them up to fail. You're going to be so stressed out when you leave class. Your dog's going to be even more stressed out, and nothing's going to get done. So I think I've addressed everything I want to address, and I've done it in 20 minutes, which is perfect because I have to pick up I have a conference at 6:30. So you guys have been quiet today. I'm not seeing any comments today. And no, I didn't see any. And I do apologize. I know sometimes these comments come in and you'll type them while I'm filming and they don't show up for me. And then I'll see that they were typed in while I was filming. So I hope nobody's written anything today because I'll feel very badly if you guys have written things and I'm not responding to you. But go ahead, you can put in your comment and I'll put it in. Oh, wait, somebody just wrote a comment. Let's see. Hey, Danny, how are you? I know you'll be down here very soon. It's good to see you. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. This weekend, I'm working on 2 videos that I'm going to make for you. Actually, 3. One's hurricane safety. One is cooking for your dog. And the other Floridians will love. It's about bufo toads, how to keep your dog safe, and how to the best way to teach your dog to swim. Actually, just wait. I have 4 golden retrievers coming in for training in 2 weeks, and we are going to be taking them to the beach. We're going to be teaching them about the pool. And yes, I'm glad you brought that up, John. The best way to teach your dog to swim. I will do a video on that as well. So coming up, we've got hurricane safety, cooking for your dog, teaching your dog to swim. Is 8 years old too old to learn? Nope. The oldest dog I ever trained was 11 years old. Her name was Einstein, and Einstein was like a little shepherd mix. This was a gazillion years ago, and Einstein was attacking the new puppy that had come into the house. And Einstein lived another couple of years, stopped attacking the puppy in the house. The puppy was very well behaved after we finished that training as well. And everybody was super happy, and I was pretty excited that, you know, we had this 11-year-old dog that we turned her around. I can't say she always loved the new puppy, but she wasn't attacking the new puppy anymore, which was pretty good. So I thank you guys for tuning in again, and I will see you guys very soon. Have a great day. Oh, and it's Memorial Day weekend. So if you know anybody who has served our country, thank them. And if you lost somebody who has served our country, my thoughts are with you. And that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks. Oh, Karen, am I permanently in Florida? It is so good to see you, Karen. How have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. I am not permanently in Florida. I am back and forth. Our school in Midland Park is still going very strongly and will remain doing so. And we are doing in-home lessons and group classes here in Palm Beach County, which is where I was from 89 to 2007. So I am just back and forth enjoying the warm weather. I definitely do better in warm up weather. And my daughter is getting to ride out in Wellington, and she's having a blast with it. She'll be showing next month in Ocala at the World Equestrian Center. And if you're bored and you want to surf the internet, check out the World Equestrian Center in Ocala. It's mind blowing. It's beautiful. And you know what, Karen? They have agility competitions at WAC in Ocala. So one day you have to bring your pups down to the agility and the dog shows in Ocala. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Take care.